Um, well, I think that a lot of the people in the crypto space are thinking about the way of making quick buck here and just invest a little bit and get some profit within days or maybe months, but usually days or weeks. And I think that this is a bit twisted approach. It shouldn't be treated in this way, and this is the play of in a long term. And crypto will show their potential within years, if not decades, probably decades. And in this, because of that, we need to consider not the like daily swings which we often look at, but or excited or gloomed about, but the global perspective and like what would happen within few years from now if you like invest in crypto right now, and will you have be in a profit, and is it high potential and less risk or something like that. So but at the same time, of course, we would like to learn about the market and to know how it behaves in order to not to make mistakes again in the long term as well. But in order to do that, we need to look at those tiny swings and learn the psychology of the market and so on. So that is why basically I'm doing those updates daily and look at those small changes and see how the price behaves and what does the news and everything. So let's look at what we had yesterday in terms of the price and what to expect next a little later. Just first pay some attention on the news. And speaking about the long term game of crypto, here is the tweet from Anthony Pompliano. The EU just fined MasterCard more than $600 million for artificially rising card fees. So you can see that our financial system is really not that great as many think. So probably there are better options, and why crypto is not the one of them. Probably it is. So he said long Bitcoin, short the bankers. It does make sense, does make sense. And speaking about the banks and the development of crypto, a Swiss bank introduces digital wallet with direct crypto transfers. It's not the first Swiss bank which is doing that, but now it seems like this movement is getting some steam, and we are talking about Switzerland. And Switzerland is known to be the country of bankers, and probably they know a lot of the banking industry. And the fact that they are making one of the first steps in this area among like developed countries and established economies probably tells you something, and seem like a positive thing. Seem like this would continue further. So why people don't believe it? Well, probably they're just short-sighted. I mean, some of them at least. Another news in the same way, Bitcoin is a fad, but even NASA is investing in blockchain. Indeed, NASA is aimed to use the Hyperledger technology in order to improve their services, their business. Well, not business, but operation. So, and this is based on blockchain, and in fact, we are may sort of distinguish blockchain and crypto, and saying that okay, blockchain is great but crypto is not, and cryptocurrency is still a fad. But it's one piece of the puzzle basically. And although some of the people are pretty much critical, here's for example the print screen from the screenshot, but like the copy of the Business Review newspaper from 1995 with the title "The Internet is Just a Fad." Well, you know what happened with internet after that, within 10-20 years, right from 1995. So the same thing people are saying about Bitcoin right now. Well, who knows? But in fact, if history repeats itself, then, and considering all the fundamentals which were talked about many times, it seems like people are not listening the history lessons. Okay, continuing with the news. there was some interview with the founder of Edge Wallet, and he was saying many things about how cool their wallet is and so on. The interesting thing about, well, there are other things of course, but why I'm going to mention is that although it is Yahoo Finance seem to be an established and respectable media, they say that CCN remembers a very notable example of this. And why I'm talking about this is because of the yesterday video about Rakuten accepting Bitcoin potential. Rakuten made headlines across the crypto world when it acquires a Bitcoin wallet company and integrated Bitcoin on its flagship store. Then on one day it stopped accepting crypto and no one noticed. Same thing with Expedia and others. I think this paragraph is at least inaccurate. First, Rakuten never accepted Bitcoin unless it was Rakuten Marketplace, where there are other retailers, well, not other, but just some retail stores which could accept Bitcoin. And Rakuten itself never accepted crypto as far as I know. There are very few sources about that, and everybody are confused about this statement. And so they couldn't stop accepting crypto. Those marketplace stores could stop accepting crypto, but there shouldn't be such a confusing twist of this fact. So and the same with Expedia and others. This is actually what does it mean? Did Expedia accepted crypto? I don't know. Again, it's probably some misleading thought line. Anyway, just be careful reading such things. Try to make your own due diligence on that and be critical. Bakkt, another news from Bakkt. It continues hiring new staff, and now they are getting more software developers, mobile blockchain developers, and so on and so forth. So basically they are continuing to winking to us that, guys, we are doing our job, don't worry, we'll make this happen, it's just a matter of time, so let's wait a little bit more and we'll have more gains and push this industry forward eventually. Not so bad. And the last thing, $3.2 trillion in Bitcoin payments proceeded in 2018. Is cryptocurrency a better version of gold? Well, this is an old story, but indeed 3.2 trillion, it's quite a lot, I would say. Well, comparing to the things in general for the crypto, which just recently was not in the news at all in the established media, but now it's treated pretty much seriously. So not everyone is convinced, of course, and some people said, I'm not so worried about cryptocurrencies, yada yada yada, they're not great unit of exchange, they don't hold value, and they are slower. And each and every of this part of the statement can be easily beaten up with the arguments and facts. So actually comparing to the Swift, for example, talking about the slow or not, Swift network requires a minimum 3 or 5 business days of international wire transfer, and Bitcoin and other major crypto assets typically can settle payments within 1 hour. And yeah, the same thing, you can find the arguments, counter arguments about the other stuff. So it's not really it's sort of a dying thought line of some of the huge analysts, which are just not catching up with the technology and the recent progress, in my personal opinion. So let's look at the price briefly. What happened? Basically, I must say one important thing. Recent couple of weeks, we are moving in pretty much the expected manner, and when I say expected, it does mean that we are moving in a reasonable way, quite logical, but it's like when you, for example, see a channel, for example, the price is moving in this sort of channel, and you don't exactly this channel, but just if price is moving in a channel, it bounces off the top and the bottom and the top and the bottom and the bottom, and it's so on and so forth, and people are started to see this channel from the beginning, start to trade within, and then eventually when it works so many times, almost everybody are started to trade within this channel because it seemed to be pretty firm. And why not to make this profit? Just buy low, sell high, and then buy low again, and so on. So, and when enough people were start doing that, then eventually the market, I wouldn't say manipulators crypto, they are, but those who are driving the price, they move the price below and above this trend, this channel. So all the people who are trading in this channel got wrecked. So the same thing to some extent happens right now, but in a bit advanced way, when you think that, okay, we have this sort of, let's say, previous low, so we need to go below this low in order to collect liquidity. So we did make it, and okay, we have this sort of established area zone of the price, so we need to go above this in order to collect liquidity around here. We did this, and so on. So basically what we're talking about in the recent couple of weeks, we need to go higher than this, then we need to go lower than this. It happened, and then we should have go lower than this eventually. And again, it did happen just yesterday. In fact, it was pretty sharp 1 hour candle, and even not 1 hour, I think it was like within a minute or something. So anyway, this was again pretty much expected, and it went just according to the trend line which we drew yesterday or 2 days ago. So very much expected move. So right now, if you would think what to happen next, is the most obvious thing, the most expected thing is to go above this previous high in order to make the stop orders of those people who are going short all over the area around here, liquidate them and get this liquidity. So this is the most obvious thing, and in fact, following the trend of this obvious behavior, I would expect it to happen. In my personal opinion, I think we will go probably above $4,000 right now. So but again, this is the obvious thing, and at some point, the more we guess correctly the price behavior, the more likely it will we will make a the wrong guess on the next time. So, and yeah, it may happen right now, so the price may go in the way that we don't expect. So although I would probably think that we will see the Bitcoin somewhere around $4,000, we still have a chance to go very low and even test the 200 weeks moving average and this low, and even go to the lowest point. But you see, there is for example, on the daily chart, there is a small bullish divergence on RSI recently, so it goes up while the price goes down. So maybe we have a chance to indeed see the easiest path on the way up, and then we go to this $4,000, and let's see how the market will support this or not. And if it would, then we may see even further rises. But at that point, don't forget that it's quite risky to continue to hold all of your positions, so better fix some gains on the way up and then back buy more on the way back if it would happen. So not financial advice as usual, but safe trading, guys. Hope it was useful to some extent, and see you tomorrow in the next update, which I'm doing daily for you. Goodbye.